Peace, peace, peace. Greetings to you all. It's your brother Naheem, BKA Lord Abbott, aka Mr. Just the Facts. Tonight, we're gonna talk about reparationists. We're gonna talk about the Reparationist Papers, a publication that was produced by several high quality scholars, and I'm going to pull their credentials up in a minute. Obviously, many know of the online scrum. Let me shout out. Wait, hold on. Shout out to my team, BTP, Be the Power. Shout out to all my bros. I want to highlight the Be the Power in the back a little bit tonight. I'm gonna bring my bros back in on the full screen. Like, we built for this. We built for this. So shout out to my mods, to the BTP mods. Shout out to everybody that's listening in, man. Shout out to the whole ADOS family. So I wanna get into I wanna pull something up real quick. It's hard not to speak to certain issues, right? It's hard because we're men here. At the end of the day, we're men. But I want to pull up something real quick. It's real quick. And then we gonna get into what we getting into tonight. This is a list that I've studied for years. It is a master list of logical fallacies. I don't know if y'all remember when I had the brother on last week, and he was talking about our debates that we used to have, and during these debates, he said, we used to beat you up, Lord Abba. I was like, yeah. I was like, nah. Then I was like, oh yeah, at first you did. I said, but that's because I didn't know how to argue. Somebody sent me a book called How to Win Every Argument. And in that book, it gave a master class on ethos, pathos, and logos, and how to spot logical fallacies in every single argument. From there, I found this list, the master list of logical fallacies. I mean, let me scroll all the way down to the bottom. 146 of them. I've studied this list for years. I know how to close up the hole in any argument that you make. There are uses and abuses of pathos, ethos, and logos, right? And to abuse them is what Donald Trump does. When we listen to him with the whole COVID thing, and the usage is what King did when he was, I believe, in the Alabama prison, and he sent a letter out to those pastors. He was appealing to their ethics as Christian theologians, and also appealing using pathos, appealing to their passions, to their human nature. I just wanted to say that before we get into tonight's broadcast, because I want to make some things crystal clear. So I want to bring my bros on, and we're going to start off with this whole reparationist argument that's trying to be made, because what I'm witnessing is people are trying to throw a problem at a solution, as my brother Logic has said. And I'm not trying to do no corny back and forths with nobody. But we here, and we going to fight for what we believe in, and on what we stand on. So brother Ali, if you wanted to come in and let's address.
Yeah, I want to come in. Yeah, let's definitely. okay, what obviously is happening is there's an attempt to create a phobia around a word, right? Understand something. We're all using words, right? These words have existed long before any of us came into the picture. And so what they're attempting to do is create a fallacious argument around the use of a word, right? Now, here's the definition. When you go into the definition of reparation, if you Google a word, Google uses the Oxford Dictionary as their base of information. So what they say reparations means is the making of amends for a wrong one has done by paying money to or otherwise helping those who have been wronged, right? So I want to do something else. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share a screen with you of the suffix, the suffix ist, ist. All right, so let's do this, right? Because we have to get real rudimentary with this thing so people understand what you're talking about. Obviously, people are not understanding what's being said here.
It's not.
Let me know if you can see what's on the screen.
Oh yeah,
it's not registering.
No, I'm talking
All
about
right.
the simple logic that is a word and why we use it is not registering.
Indeed.
Classes in session, family. Classes in session.
So let's get real rudimentary with this thing, right? Because we're acting childish and we got to get rudimentary when we start dealing with childish things. Ist is a suffix of nouns often corresponding to verbs ending in "-is" or nouns ending in "ism that denote a person who practices or is concerned with something or holds certain principles, doctrines, etc. Remember, reparations is synonymous with justice. We're talking about, when we use the term reparationist, those persons who are concerned with or hold to the principles or doctrines of justice. It's a very simple thing. Justice is a universal thing. It's not an ADOS thing. It's not a Pan-African thing. It's a universal thing. Yes, the Japanese Americans got reparations, but that was based on justice, right? Holding to the principle of justice. One of the things I see missing is principles in this whole thing. That's something we got to touch on too, because obviously there's a problem with principles. But what we're talking about is the principle of justice. And let's do this. Let's go even further. I'm going to take this off. I want to share some other stuff, right? Particularly certain tweets, because people have been sharing tweets, right? So let's do this. I'm going to share something if I can. I hope this works. I hope this works. 1 second. It's a tweet from somebody who let's see. Hold on a second. Ah, damn it. I don't think I can share this like this. But hold on. We got to share this, man. We got to share this. Because basically, let me tell you what it is. Let me just set it up so people will know. It's a tweet from a person named Critical Side Eye, where this particular person is saying, I am a hashtag reparationist. Will you join us in our fight for justice? So there's a very interesting thing. And then she ends it with hashtag ADOS, right? But what this does is it speaks to her genuine feelings towards the term reparationist before anybody starts convincing them of something otherwise. These are their genuine feelings about the use of the term and what the term means to them. So let me just see something if I can share this.
Yeah, see if you can share it, bro.
Yeah, because people need to see this. This is important, right? Because it's an argument, right? So now people are sharing tweets and all of this kind of stuff. So we gotta show people what it is. Let me know if you can see this.
There we go.
All right, so this is her tweet. Whoever Critical Side Eye is, whoever she comes from, she's obviously a member of the ADOS family, right? This is what she said herself, right? And this is back in July. I am a hashtag reparationist. We didn't make anybody understand something, people. We're dealing with grown folks. Nobody's making anybody do anything. People are doing things of their own volition, right? They're using their own minds and coming to certain determinations about what it is that they want to do. So the use of this term, this word reparationist, that has been in use before we helped to make it trend in 2020, because this is what happened with the chick Jam on Twitter, right? Because there was a whole thread of a conversation, and a piece of it is being used to pretend that there was some kind of argument made on behalf of Pan-Africanism, some kind of legitimate argument. The point that I made in that particular exchange with the Jam chick was that we made the term trend on social media. I was very specific in the use of my words, very specific, and anybody that's interested in it can go back to that thread and read everything that was said. And I said to her, you, Narc, and Cobra, none of those other people were using that term until we made it popular in 2020. That's what I said. I didn't say we made up the word. I didn't say that Pan-Africanists didn't use it or anybody else didn't use it before us. You can Google the word and see that it was in use before we started using it. The point is, she's using it now, and she's only, and my point to her was, you're only using it because you see us using it. You see different people in ADOS using it. So now you're trying to use it and to try to co-opt the term as some kind of Pan-Africanist term. It is not a Pan-Africanist term. I don't care what anybody's telling you. People in ADOS, you all are smart people. You don't need to have anybody influence you to make you think that there's something wrong with a word. We're not going to start developing phobias of words. That's childish and it's silly. Right? And it's a fallacious argument. It's not based in anything. It's not based in anything. The fact of the matter is, when I talked to that female on Twitter, I was telling her that we made the thing trend and made it start moving around social media. She didn't, Narc didn't, and Cobra didn't. That's an actual fact. That's an actual fact. It has nothing to do with trying to change the lineage of ADOS or any other silly nonsense that people are trying to tell you it is, because that's not what it is. So you all can see this for yourselves. Critical side eye. Do you guys know who she is? Whoever you know who she is, which particular quote unquote chapter she's down with or whatever. The fact of the matter is, she used this term of her own volition. Nobody made her do it.
So wait, I want to address something as well, the coinage part, because it made it seem, but we got the Merc B in the chat. This person follows me on Twitter. I believe we follow each other. That's why it should have never been no addition of any terminology.
Man, we can use whatever. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
I don't like it. Would the purpose of my brother Ali even bringing up critical side eyes tweeting? We got a bunch of them. We have a bunch of them, whole bunch of them. Was that it wasn't an issue until it became an issue. So we have no way to attack. So we got to make this reparationist word the same as FBA. The problem is that it's not. If people who call themselves FBA are sincere about reparations, they're reparationists. Even if they are pretending or acting like they are for reparations, they are reparationists, just like Narc and Cobra. And I'm going to get into a little bit of Narc as well. Here we have ADOS Atlanta on the screen. We growing, hashtag reparationists in these streets, hashtag BTP, like it or not. It's not an addition of terminology in the same way an FBA was. Again, as my brother Ali Bey has just stated, this is just another fallacious argument. I want to, hold on. Oh, that was the Corey Bush. Okay. I want to go into the coining part real quick. Was there any point that you wanted to make on this particular screen grab?
Yeah, let me say something real quick, man. So, right, somebody, I think Merc B said it in here.
Yeah.
I want to pull out two comments. Let me touch on what Merc B said first, right? He was like, the one you got up is that's why it should never be no addition of any terminology. For one, that's a weird statement on its face, right? Because like we're intelligent people, we're talking about addition of terminology, right? Somebody was talking about a while ago having sophistication, right? Being sophisticated in your argument, right? Not limited in your argument, right? So adding specific and specificity and sophistication to an argument should be embraced and not, discarded or taken to some offense. He also said, right, I want to go to another, he tried to liken it to FBA. Let me explain the difference, right? What the FBA group or Nasheed did was intentional, and it was very obvious. He was trying to make a play on a lineage claim, on a foundational American that is centered around trying to craft out new identity for a group, right? Very different than what the term reparationist is. A reparationist is a political ideology. It means it tells you exactly what our mission focus is. Our mission focus is reparations. So if someone has a problem with the term reparationist, then I would not question the term, but question if they're really interested in reparations at all. Because if your chart is truly set on reparations, you would embrace such a term like we see. Now, we did a discussion last week, and a lot of the discussion was centered around the first tweet, and the origin of a lot of the discussion, right, was centered around this group, right? Not everyone from this group, but people from this group here. And we see back in August, right? It was ADOS rep. We're growing. They said they were growing reparationists in these streets, right? Talking to the grassroots. We're growing reparationists, right? Positive. No one had any problem in August. The other tweet was July? Nobody had any problem in July. Right. When did it become a problem, right? Because if you've seen all these members who are quite known, everyone knows who they are. They're not like low salience members. These tweets were seen. If it was a problem based on adding new terminology, why did it take months to get called out? There's something else afoot. You understand? And don't be played. Right. We're open and honest and transparent with everything we do here. And we don't want the public to be played. We'll never play you. We're not going to play with your intelligence. We're not going to insult your intelligence. And we will never deceive you, right? We're not deceivers. So someone has played you, and it wasn't Be the Power. Carry on. I'll come back in a second. I want to pull up another comment, though.
Yeah. Oh, let me ask you this, Ali.
Here's what
Ali, real quick. When did the Jam chick come out with that claim to try to mess with the Be the Power? I mean, mess with the term reparations.
I don't know. That was a couple of weeks
August
ago
or something?
so, maybe.
Okay.
It was like a couple of weeks ago. It wasn't even
I
that
don't
long
know
ago.
if it was August.
Okay.
And let me just say this about that. One of the really key things that I said to her was this: show and prove that you, Jam, whatever her name is, have used that term before we made it start trending in social media. Just show and prove, right? We don't have to do all of the back and forth. Show and prove. So what she did was, because she knew she wasn't using it, she went to Google. Now, if anybody Googles the term reparationist, what you're going to find is a list of things that's going to come up. On the list is the very article that she wound up picking, which happens to be an article that was produced by a Pan-Africanist scholar, right? And it just helped her. She feels like it helped her position. But the article was published back in 1994. She couldn't find anything more recent than that. 1994. What you feel about that, Josh?
I feel like it's the 21st century. So if anything, I also think about the fact that a lot of people were in Pan-Africanism in 1994 that are not in Pan-Africanism today. I feel like the politics has changed. We know through immigration statistics that it was a large influx of immigrants that came from so-called African countries or diaspora countries. After 1994, a large percentage of them came in the later 1990s and the 2000s. So who knows if that person will even hold the same views today. I know a lot of us may have been holding some of those views and are not holding them today. So I just want to say, as far as the whole term reparationist, we all know what it means. I don't see how a person can hear how we came out with it organically. You know, it was just a thought that Naheem had, and he just dropped it, and it just resonated. And it didn't just resonate with us; it resonated with a lot of people because it makes sense. So I don't know when it became a problem, and I feel like, look, this is an ADOS term. This is reparationist is an ADOS term. Why? Because ADOS people came.
Josh went out.
I think he went out, but I think the point he was trying to make is,
I mean, not any time in the period of 26 years had that term even been seen. It's been relegated to obscurity, and it was in obscurity when it was put out at that time. Because if it wasn't in obscurity, somebody would have known about it. You wouldn't have to go to Google, and believe me, this is people trying to counter ADOS all the time. If they didn't have accounted for it until somebody just said, "Oh, let's see if we can find some obscure source." So I'm like, nah, it's not a problem. It's the ADOS, and when you coin a phrase, because that's really what we're not saying we made up, we invented the word. We coined the phrase. You make the phrase. Then when you coin the phrase, you get to set the terms of what you mean by the phrase. You get to set the term of the context of the phrase. In the same way, nobody can tell us what ADOS means. Nobody can tell us what ADOS means because you know, or in the early onset, and then some people who was real late to the discussion, they will say, well, I'm American, and I'm a descendant. My people are descended from slavery, even though the slavery is not from America. I'm still American now, and I'm a descendant of slavery, so I'm ADOS
Right.
too. No, you don't get to tell me what the term means because I came up with the term. You know, and I'm not saying I'll give credit to Tony the Vet who coined the phrase, right? They made the term popular. They and the ADOS people permeated that through the ethers, permeated through that across social media. And so now when people use the term, now people know, they should know what it means. Maybe it's still some people trying to make the argument, the fallacious argument, but I just feel like we made the term, ADOS people made the term reparationist, go all over the place now. So, ADOS people get to cite what the context of that mean, and the context is the criteria. The criteria is the context. That's what we say. If you're a reparationist, what that means is you're in favor for in the context of in America, you're in favor for reparations to American descendants of slavery. And what does that mean? That means that you will have to meet the criteria as we set. That's what it means. So if a Pan-Africanist, they can say they are reparationists. What does that mean? They are reparations for ADOS reparations. That's it.
Let me say this.
Let me say this, Josh. Okay, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, let me say this real quick, right? Naheem introduced the show talking about the fallacies of arguments, right? Logical fallacies, right? So one criticism we face for, popularizing and in the usage of the word, right, is that one criticism is where there's no need for new terminology. So that's one criticism. And then they come and say, to try to discredit the term, that it was already being used in 1994. So is it new terminology or is it old terminology? You got to make up your mind. So that sounds crazy to me. You tell me at one moment it's new terminology. Then you bring up an article saying that it's been being used for a couple decades. So that means it's actually old terminology that we're using and not introducing anything new at all, right? So we have to understand something else is going on. And we already showed the timeline, right? And someone else said in the chat a couple months ago, all ADOS people were saying, I am a reparationist, and it was no problem. What made it a problem? These are questions you have to ask yourself. We don't, at Be the Power, right? We don't tell people what to think. We're just trying to get you to think better and understand how you should be thinking and independent thinking. We're creating independent thinkers, right? Not followers. We are here to create leaders and show people how to be the power themselves and not have to depend on anyone else to be the power for them, right? This should see, and this is a good question too. Why is this so confusing? That's because there are agents of confusion breeding confusion and breathing confusion into this discussion, because it was quite clear for months. No one was confused about the intentions of it. No one had a problem with it. Everyone knew, because before we introduced the language, we had a body of work that was fortified and fighting for justice for our specific group. We did a show, Destroying Pan-Africanism. We did a show, Destroying Pan-Africanism, right? So reparationist is a political ideology. It is not in any way associated with a lineage or a name of a particular group of people as far as a lineage or a racial or ethnic identity is concerned. It's a political ideology, and it's rooted in justice. Yes, you can have reparations of all kinds, but we are reparations, right? We are reparationists fighting for reparations and for the American descendants of slavery. Everybody who knows us knows this. And someone else said, well, then it's going to make people question, who are you for reparations for? And they're going to question the term. Well, what better way to open up a discussion and start educating people than for them to have asked you that question? Why would you be shying away from someone asking you some questions unless you have some weird stuff going on that you didn't want to tell nobody? If someone asked me, what do you mean by this reparationist? I would embrace the question because I would love to talk about it. I'm always looking for ways to talk about reparations. And I got a shirt on that says, I'm a reparationist. Somebody sees that and they say, well, what does that mean? Well, I say, well, you know what? There's a specific group of people in this country called the American descendants of slavery. And we've had very specific damage and harm done to us by the United States government. And that turned me into this knowledge and this education turned me into a reparationist, right? Understanding my legacy, understanding my lineage, understanding who I am and my history turned me and transformed me into a reparationist. And I'm fighting for reparations. And if you're scared of the term reparationist, then you're not ready for reparations. You're not committed to the fight of manifesting a reparations program. You're just talking at it. You're not walking towards it. You're talking about it, because when you're a reparationist, that means now there has to be some political action. There has to be some political engagement in real life and not just with words. Abolitionists, right? And I'm going to say this and I'm going to pass it, right? At one point in time, it was considered political suicide to call yourself an abolitionist, right? You had descendants of slaves who were abolitionists. You had ADOS people who were abolitionists. And you had descendants of slave owners and Europeans who were also abolitionists. And we worked together, successfully created the Underground Railroad that freed thousands of our people. Worked together to produce the Reconstruction Amendments, abolished slavery completely, chattel slavery, with the 13th Amendment. That was the work of abolitionists. That was a term that could build national support, because why? It incorporated other people all using the same term. Now, ADOS is specific for the specific group that needs these valiant individuals to fight for them and to champion this plight. Now, only ADOS can use the term ADOS because that's a lineage specific term. But whoever is sympathetic with our justice claim, whoever agrees with us and who has the courage enough for truth and wants to fight with us can be a reparationist. Now, if you don't build national support and you don't have the courage for reparations, then we will never get it. We have to create reparationists. We have to. That's the only way to get it done. We have to be all saying the same thing, right? Reparations. And anyone can be a reparationist, but who you're going to fight for is the question you need to be asking. Who you're going to fight for. And we're fighting for ADOS.
All right, Ali, I know you want to come in. Let me. I just got this pulled up because there was also a screen grab shared of me saying that I coined the term and how this was problematic because it made it seem like I pulled this term out of thin air. I'm pretty certain that when I said the term, it wasn't something that I actually invented. It just flowed in my mind and that was it. Obviously, you would look up a word and see if it has any meaning or any usage. You would look up the etymology as Brother Wu Jiao just I put up on the screen of ist, right? And he says, to be the nerd that I am, reparation plus is suffix. We went through this earlier. A suffix, a follower of a distinctive practice, system, or philosophy, typically a political ideology or an artistic movement. I mean, damn. Okay, so I pulled up the definition from the definition of the word coining, right? And this is from the Cambridge Dictionary online. It says to invent a new word or expression, or to use one in a particular way for the first time. And they give an example. Allen Ginsberg coined the term flower power. That term may have been used plenty of times before in literary works, et cetera, et cetera. When the Jam person pulled up that 1994 article, I believe she went to JSTOR, which means she had to do some real Google digging. She probably went into Google Books and did a keyword search. Well, we did the same thing. And what we found was that reparationist was largely used in literary works to describe a person who was about reparation, period. It was not a term that was used. Somebody commented on that thread and said, they said something about, I guess, it being confusing or whatever would have you. And I said, look, if you can find the digital footprint of that word, reparationist, being used prior to us coining it, I'll never say the word again. I didn't get a response back to that particular tweet. Maybe in the hour or 2 hours since I wrote that, maybe that person has, but I don't know. But Brother Ali, and then we're gonna get into the topic of tonight.
Well, I just wanted to say, if you think about the last tweet that we had up from ADOS Atlanta and where a lot of this energy is coming from, it is very telling in the sense that these people were gung-ho with the use of that term. So much so that they hashtagged BTP and tagged 3 of y'all in the post and even put the fist up, like, yeah, we making reparationist, yeah, right? You see what I'm saying? Like they felt that, had to throw the fist up. You understand? So now, like somebody said, after the interview with Tamara, then all of this stuff becomes a problem, right? So we can't ignore the timeline and sequence of events. We see what happened. The question is why. The real question is why. And if anybody in the leadership position, whether that's Antonio Moore or Yvette Carnell, want to come on this show and talk to us about it, you can come talk to us about it, right? Because that's what we're about. I don't mind having a conversation with somebody right in person. I don't mind having a conversation. If there's something wrong with, if you think there's something wrong with what we're doing, we give you the link right now. You can come on and tell us.
Yes. And
that's not a problem. This is not a call-in show. You can come on right now, talk to us, and break it down, show and prove that what we're doing is wrong. If using the word reparationist is truly anchored in Pan-Africanism, then I would invite you to show me and prove that to me.
Well, there's really no way it can be. There's really no way it can be anchored in Pan-Africanism, right? Because you can't anchor reparationist into unifying Africa in one Africa. That it just doesn't make any sense, right? So, and another thing, right? Merc B, he whoever, I don't know if this is a female or a male going off of the profile or the avatar, but they say this, and then we can swing into the meat and potatoes of this. All this explaining is the whole issue. Well, when did we become weary or concerned with explaining things? I think the ADOS community has become experts in explanation. right? We always have to explain why ADOS should get reparations and it should be only us. We have to explain why the criteria is set where it's at. We have to explain the history of it. We have to explain the wealth data and information. And as ADOS people, we've come quite accustomed to doing a whole lot of explaining. But now explanations are a problem. And only time explaining and providing explanations is a problem is when you don't have none.
Exactly. And they had to do a lot of explaining as to why they were using the term ADOS when people were accusing them of stealing it from somebody else. All right, they did a lot of explaining. I saw all of that explaining online. I saw all of it explaining about being involved in PFER online. I seen all of that stuff. I saw all of that. Right. And in spite of all of that, me and my team defended those people. That's an actual fact. It's documented. Go to the Garfield show and you'll see it. You'll see what we did. You'll see what we did and how we was having people's backs, even though people were attacking them.
And that's something that we all been doing for months, for 2 years and some change, because I never looked at it as defending them as individuals per se. It's more, to me, we did it. And then when people separated, because I always looked at it as defending the movement and the need for having the term ADOS, the need for having the specificity, the need for everything that comes along with what they brought. I never looked at it as defending an individual, but when people what they did on the Garfield show is they separated it out. They I don't know if anybody saw it, man, but they tried to make it to where they tried to make us, they try to give us a bait, like, we'll follow you. We ain't gonna follow them. And we still was like, nah, bro, we're not having that. We're not about that. We're about the end result. And the best way to move forward is to have a unified front. And we with them. We're not trying to have no carve out. That's what we said on their show. So that's why, like, when you see stuff is going on now, it's disappointing. But so I'm just letting people know, like, man, it didn't have to be all that. It didn't have to be all that.
People have been putting that out there, and all of the people that were in the chat when we were on Garfield's show, all of the ADOS people that was in the chat heard it. They heard it. The number of times that those guys kept telling us we would rather follow y'all than Yvette and Tone, right? They said this out of their own mouths. We didn't make them say that. They said it, right? But did we take that bait? Did we feed into that, or did we shut that down? Right? That should be evidence to any thinking person of our intentions. If that was our intentions, we would have fed into that, but we shut it down. I don't understand this kind of nonsense, because to me, it's really childish, and it shows a lack of character in a lot of people who co-sign what these people are doing. That's not good. That's not good business, man. And that's not, to me, those are people who have a problem with principles. And there's a lack of principles in this thing. I can see it. I can see it now. So whoever want to come on, we got the link. That's all I'm saying.
I'll put the link in there. Somebody said they want to come on. I'll put it. The link is in the chat for whoever want to come on. We'll bring you on one at a time, and we'll have the discussion. You know what I'm saying? But what was what Ali said was absolutely 100% true. Like, we heard these people. This is how we are vanguards for this movement, right? We heard the name of their show was so disrespectful. The name of their show was Tone and Yvette Are a Scam. We saw that and we hopped straight on a bumper. We did not allow that, right? Because we're protectors of the movement. And when you have people in the forefront who have, push this conversation in such a way and elevate it in such a way, you can't sit by and allow that type of attack to go unaddressed. We addressed it head on, and we was battling with those guys, cleaning them up for a whole week and a half, right? So then to turn around and people to try to, turn that into something else, we showed our character. We showed what type of people we are. and we're not what they tried to make us out to be. And we will never be that, because we're men of honor. So we're going to continue to teach. As reparationists, we have information, we have scholarship behind what we're talking about. We're just not talking about words. We're talking about a mission. We're talking about work that must be done. And it's not adverse to anything that has already been done. The ADOS laid the foundation. But when you're building a house, you don't stop at the foundation. You have to build and continue to build until it's complete. Now we're building a house. The ADOS, the American Descendants of Slavery, are the foundation of this thing. But we're building on. We're not taking away or dividing. That's the wrong math. A lot of y'all are using the wrong math. We're using addition and multiplication. We're not using subtracting and division. We're not using subtraction and division. Addition and multiplication. Because if we want this thing to happen, 13% of the America's population ain't gonna get it done. We're going to have to be able to build national support. We're going to have to be able to put reparationists in Congress. We're going to have to get reparationist-backed legislation passed. We're going to have to get a majority into Congress to get this thing done. We cannot do that unless we have a term that unifies all sympathizers and the people who this justice claim is dedicated to. We have to be smart, like our ancestors were when they achieved abolition. And if we want to achieve reparations, we have to use that same intelligence and that same attitude, and we have to be strong and fearless, just like they were. We can't be scared of things, right? So we have the link in the chat, because we're all about having discussions with the family. We don't control the conversation. We include people. We're all about inclusion and not isolation. So, and specifically with our ADOS family, and any of the people who challenge us, we've never blocked them out of the show. Anyone who wants to correct us, we welcome in real life corrections. We're all about that because it's education. And we have a policy. We always submit to superior information. So if your information is superior, come on, and we will submit to it.
Okay. The link is in the chat. I'll put it in there again. Okay, here's the Merc B. So let's see what Merc B has to say. Peace.
Oh, peace. I appreciate y'all taking my stream today and the call today. I just want to clarify some things, because I think the tone in my chat is being taken differently than what I mean. So just to make this quick and easy, my only criticism of there being additional terminology in the ADOS lexicon is just what I said in the chat. Is just it kind of divides the branding and the public relations look from the outside looking in. I personally think, and this is all just my opinion, I personally think that earlier in the movement, when, Tariq Nasheed and the other guy that doesn't show his face, and all of these other people that were latching onto ADOS and using ADOS, I think that we were at our strongest then. So my only criticism, once again, is just that from the outside looking in, from other people, when you add terminology, you divide the branding up. And I think I think we're strongest when that is a streamlined thing. When you look at ADOS like as something that's all encompassing, something that, when you say ADOS, you're saying I am a reparationist. You're saying I am, anti-immigration to the effect that it undermines Black American prosperity. You're saying all of those things in that one terminology. That was my only criticism. It's not a criticism of anyone personally at BETHEPOWER or your movement or anything. I was just saying, hey, the best way to go at this for our opposition is to be streamlined one thing. So, when you say ADOS, it means a specific thing, and that there really isn't any need for any additional breakdown or explanation of that. That's all I meant.
Well, before anybody comments, I want to thank you.
But let me say this.
Wait, real quick. I want to thank you for having the courage enough to come on and explain your position first and foremost, because a lot.
Right, no, that's not hard for me, because I'm real about ADOS and our movement toward reparations. But I do appreciate you saying that.
Beautiful. Thank you, brother.
Yo, let me
Okay, love it.
before Ali jumps on, let me ask a couple questions, right? Okay, so I listened to what you said, right? And you said that ADOS says all of these things as soon as you say that, right? How did you come to that conclusion that ADOS said reparations, anti-immigration, and all of that stuff on it when you hear the word when you hear the word ADOS? When I hear the word, I'm just gonna tell you when I hear the word ADOS, I hear American descendants of slavery. I hear a very lineage specific group of people that have coalesced around identity. How did you get all of that other stuff you explained out of the term?
Okay, so where did the term ADOS originate from?
Hold on, one second. And I'm asking you, right? So that when you say you got all this, I want to know if that's what you heard, what you got out of it when you first heard the term, or was that something that developed out of education and asking questions? Okay, go ahead.
No, it's not anything that's so much developed out of education. We all know that the terminology as it's being used now, ADOS, was coined by Breaking Brown, Yvette Carnell's show. So in that regard, I understand if I watch the show, if I'm a person that has followed Yvette Carnell, I understand what that is connected to. So you're right. For a person that doesn't watch the show, that hasn't had any exposure to ADOS or Yvette Carnell or Tone Talks or Sandy Darity, you would have to explain what ADOS means and to someone that doesn't know. But for us that are already in the movement, for us that are out here, like even these other entities like Tariq and these other people that were using the term, we knew what ADOS meant in respect to Breaking Brown. And that goes back to the point that I'm making, just making that branding clear. So when somebody asks me the question, well, what does ADOS mean? I'll explain what it means in terms of lineage. But then when we talk about what the philosophy or the goal or the mission statement of ADOS is, I'm referring them either to Breaking Brown or ADOS101.com. So once again, ADOS is that umbrella term that everything that's in this movement right now should be fitting under. One, because Yvette Carnell started and exploded and sparked this movement the way it is. So that in that term, in that regard, to give credit to the source of this movement as it exists right now, and also to explain, you know, what can't be explained in just a few sentences to someone that wants to know. So once again, I'm gonna go back and say the same thing I said again. This is about a brand look and an identity for me. So when I hear people adding terminology, I have the same beef with Tariq Nasheed and FBA. Why are you splitting up and dividing the movement with that? Not saying that you all are doing that. I'm just saying to you that this is the look that could be assumed by that when you see other terminology sparking up within the movement.
All right, let's slow it down for a second. Right now, you said some very important things, and I think you kind of explained your I think if you listen to what you just said, maybe on the playback, you would kind of explain away all your concerns, because you said someone who hasn't been following the program may not know and may have questions and concerns about the term, and you will be able to point them to the right direction. Did you not? You said that, right?
Right. Correct.
So same thing here, right? Some people who have been following our show, they automatically know what we talk about when we use the term. And for people who do not know and who are not following our program, they can be directed straight to the source. Similar to that. And the differences between what we're doing is different than what anyone else has done, because if you follow our show, we always anchor it in ADOS-ness. We always anchor it in ADOS-ness, right? So we do not ever try to be a standalone and say reparationist. If you watch any program of ours, we always uplift the group that you should be fighting for. So there, and as someone who doesn't have experience may not understand this, right? Once you craft out a specific group that you want to fight for, there has to be a certain terminology for the fight itself, right? So you had the Irish people, right? Then the Irish people had a specific claim and a specific thing that they were fighting for. And they came up with a vehicle to not only incorporate Irish people, but other people who were sympathizers to the Irish plight. That's what reparationists did. So if you're talking to, let's say, a European, right? Or you're talking to a white American, right? And they want to be down with you too. And they just say, well, what can I be called? Because people like to be a part of a movement. Obviously, they can't be a part of ADOS, right? And if they are identifying themselves as an ally, nobody really wants to say, oh, I'm a white ally. Nobody really wants to say that. But they can say with pride and say with their chest, I'm a reparationist, and I'm fighting for the American descendants of slavery because I've seen how this government has done them, and I think it's wrong. And I'm for justice. That's why I'm a reparationist. That's why I'm fighting for those people.
I definitely can understand that. And it makes sense the way you're presenting it now in terms of identifying people outside of the movement. My only challenge to that would be is, you know, it's already been discussed. If somebody identifies himself as an ADOS ally, they just say that I'm an ADOS ally. But like I said, that's only my personal opinion and my personal view of it. It's not a critique of you using the term in that way. So I'll just close out with this. I do understand what you're saying. I think I'm just of another opinion. I'm from a branding background, so I'm more interested in that messaging being clear. And respect to everybody on the panel. If you don't have any other questions, I'll leave it at that.
All right,
Yeah.
thank you, man.
Right,
thank you, man.
And,
thank you.
And we are from a freedom fighting background.
Respect.
We're from a freedom fighting background, right? And justice is what we're concerned with. And if you understand, I was raised by ex-Black Panther, and the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense did not allow, you know, different groups outside of the target group or the group that needed the defense to join. But what they did is they came up with a slogan and a term that can incorporate all people, that all people can relate to. And that term was all power to the people. What's up, family? What's up, Brother Arthur? What's up, Sister Riri? What's up, family? All power.
What's going on, brothers?
What's up, family? What's up?
How you doing, sis?
What's up?
I'm good. I'm good. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, yes.
Perfectly. Hey, somebody got to mute out. Somebody, we got to echo. Somebody got to mute out.
Yeah, I don't have anything on.
I'm good. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, somebody.
Yes, hello?
I don't have anything on.
Somebody got to mute out.
Yeah, I don't have anything on.
I'm good. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, somebody.
Yes, hello?
I don't have anything on.
Yeah, I don't have anything.
Abba, just mute.
Abba, mute everybody's phone except for who's talking. Mute everybody's thing.
Yeah, I don't have
Abba, just mute.
Abba, mute everybody's phone except for who's talking. Mute everybody's thing.
Yeah, it's a feedback coming through Sister Riri's line. I believe that was. I'm gonna unmute her again. No, she unmute yourself, Sister Riri. Sister Riri's line. I believe that was. Do you have headphones, sis?
I do.
Unmute yourself, Sister Riri. All right, Brother Arthur, I'm gonna bring you on while the sister's setting up, bro. Brother Arthur, can you hear me?
Brother Arthur, you there?
Yeah, I don't think Brother Arthur can hear. All right, sis.
Is that better?
Much better, much better.
Much better.
Okay, brothers, first of all, I just want to say I really appreciate this show. Twice a week, you guys are on point. I am disappointed, though, at the people who are saying whatever it is that they're saying about using a word. We're talking about a word, okay? And it makes me kind of question, are they really eligible, and do they really have the right, thing going on with them to be upset about you using the word reparationist? For me, it's holding back the movement to worry about a word. Anybody could use a damn word. It's just a word. It's a word. So I'm not sure why. I'm looking at the chat. I'm listening to what you're saying. I mean, I understand that Yvette and Tone are who they are, respect, but my problem is that whoever the girl that was in the chat last week, the side-eye chick, I mean, the name is jacked up right there, but the side-eye chick, she's talking, and what we're trying to do is we're trying to have a movement here. The movement is very simple. We're trying to get what is owed to us. It's very simple. There's nobody trying to backstab anybody over a word. Like, that's ridiculous to me. And I probably don't sound as intelligent as whoever may want me to sound. I don't care. My thing is that it's very simple. Is there's no real big science behind using the word reparationist. Okay, so what? So we're using it, and guess what? I took it down because I had death in my family on my page, and I'm going to put it back up. And I'm going to use the word a lot. I'm going to go on Twitter and I'm going to spit the word crazy. My lyrics are going to be reparationist. So I really am really disappointed in this whole thing because it's pulling away from what we are trying to do here. So Yvette and Tone and whoever else is up in arms over the word reparationist, get a grip. For real, get a grip. Let's keep it moving. I mean, why is it such a big deal? So what?
Yes,
I'm gonna go off on Twitter, and I'm gonna be putting reparationists up, and I want them to say something to me.
All right.
It's ridiculous.
No doubt.
You guys are the bomb.
Yeah, Brother Arthur.
You guys are the bomb.
Oh,
Y'all
my
teaching us.
goodness.
We appreciate it. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm talking. Sorry.
Oh no,
Okay.
no, we ain't
I'm
talking.
sorry.
We ain't
All
talking.
right, let me say this.
So I'm just saying. All I'm saying is that I just want y'all to continue doing what you're doing.
All right,
You guys are bomb. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, sis.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
That way, let people know that's my brother Ali's sister right there.
All right, this is
She's
what I want to
part of
say.
the family. Yeah, go ahead, brother Arthur.
Oh, okay.
No, go ahead, brother.
All right, check this out, fam. This means that all of us have to work on increasing our. This means that all of us have to increase our vocabulary. Reparationist is a descriptive word, and it is not a branding word. Now, check this out. 2 days ago, okay, I was talking to one of my classmates who is now a lawyer, and he asked me what was I doing, and I said I'm dealing with ADOS, and you know what he said? He said, "Oh, you with that reparationist group?"
Wow.
See?
Yeah.
See?
What's a descriptive word?
Awesome.
Did you ever see, I think his name is Leo Muhammad out in the UK, and the European guy called him a racist, and he went to break it down. He was like, well, Elijah Muhammad loves his race, so he is a racist. And the same way a person who plays a piano is a pianist, you know what I'm saying? It's just, we're just reparationists. It's a silly argument. Try again. It's a silly argument. We got Brother Wu Jiao in the building. Let me introduce Brother Wu
Yes,
Jiao.
and if you go online and look up, give me one more time. If you go online and look at any scholarly work on reparations, the word reparationist is used all over the place. Reparationist.
Definitely.
That's right.
So I mean,
that's
look,
right.
When it all came out, I thought about a line that Rakim said, where he said, I could take a phrase that's rarely heard and now flip it, and it's a daily word. Hey, yo, we got Brother Wu Jiao in the building. Let me give some backstory, because we had Brother Ankh on the other day, a person that I've done battle with for years. And this brother and I, Brother Wu Jiao, we too have claimed swords over, I want to say, the past 10 years, if I'm not mistaken. So I want to welcome you to the platform, brother, to share your position.
Hey, peace. Can you hear me?
Yes, definitely.
All right, peace.
right.
I want to give my honor, respect, and peace to the panel. This is my first time meeting everyone else except for Naheem, Lord Abba, as I know him as. Yeah, peace to the panel. And this is my first time actually tuning in, and this is obviously my first time chiming in. So I appreciate you all allowing me to give my little 2 cents. But I just wanted to peek my head in to say, you know, I've been dealing with the ADOS political advocacy movement for a while now.
Yes, you have.
And I've never used my own YouTube channel except for that. Like, this is like a year and a half ago, and it's only got a couple of videos even on my channel about it, breaking it down, explaining things. But this is what I want to say. Now, I'm not privy to what I call the noise of the arguments, because I've been you know, I haven't been privy to that. But just the context of this conversation, and then what I've recently seen on Twitter is what's guiding what I'm saying. So early on, I've always explained ADOS as being two things at once. One, it addresses a very, very important and critical question, or something that we have to do, which is we have to define the first person plural pronouns, which is the we, us, and our. Because whenever we say we need or we got to do this or do that, when we put that word we there, if we never define, and I have to use the word we, which is crazy, but if we never define the we, then we become powerless, and we don't actually have the ability to execute or be actionable about anything if we never define the we at first. So it's like a feedback loop where we never define the we. So ADOS addresses that by carving out an identity, and it's making it crystal clear with specificity and definitiveness. So ADOS is a very specific lineage and heritage based on, you know, the acronym American, which deals with our United States citizenship, a lineal descendant of a victim of the institution of slavery and all of its vestiges. So that's the gist of that. So that's one part. Then you have the hashtag ADOS, which is the political educational advocacy social media movement. And that's what brought attention and so on and so forth. And so that's how I've always explained it, those two things at once. So now with the term reparationist, that's really just become a synonym for the hashtag portion of it, because it's now actionable. So it's like, what are you? A reparationist, like a scientist, one who does science, a pianist, one who plays the piano, reparationist, one who does reparation, one who speaks it, one who advocates it. So ADOS as a hashtag and reparationist, to me, this is my opinion, is very, very synonymous. And I don't think anybody should have a problem with that once they know the split between ADOS, because ADOS is two things. And I don't think people really realize that. The hashtag, which is the movement, the advocacy, and then the people. Like, I am ADOS. It's no doubt about, like, I can't not be an ADOS. I am here in this country because somebody in my lineal ancestry was kidnapped and enslaved, survived the travel, and so on and so forth, reproduced to where I am here right now. So I am ADOS. It's not something that I could dodge. But now there are people who are ADOS who don't advocate reparations, who don't advocate politics or any of that stuff. And there's some people who are ADOS by definition who are against reparations. So we have to understand that ADOS is always and always has been, even by what Yvette and Antonio have explained, it's always been two things at once. So now this is my final thing. I'm gonna wrap it up. So now, where I see, in my opinion, where the word reparationist is getting pushback is because of the defensive posture that ADOS has been forced to be in with the offshoots and the attack. So you have NARC, you have in Cobra, you have FBA, you have all these other people and other things that have kind of watered down, splintered, been divisive, and what have you. And so the natural defensive jerk back is what I'm thinking is happening with this reparationist term.
No, let me say, bro.
Okay,
that's not what it is.
Totally wrong. Okay,
that's not what it is, bro. And you haven't been involved in and let me say, you were on it way before me. Matter of fact, I was brought on to it was Garfield, yourself, several other brothers. Y'all was going in, and people, they was like, yo, bring Lord Abba on, bring Lord Abba on. Because I was in agreement with the movement, which confused people. Like, how can you claim to be a Moor, but you with slavery? I'm like, yo, because nobody, just like this term reparationist, people, sometimes they just confuse themselves. It's just as simple as that. And that's what happened, I believe, that people confuse themselves. My grandparents, as you just explained, you can't escape from the fact that as a lineage, I am ADOS, point blank, period. So they don't understand the identity element and how it's rooted in a specific institution. And those who descend from that institution, I mean, it's quite simple once it's explained. And we've explained reparations here tonight. We explained it on our last broadcast as well. So I just wanted to just let you know, because you might not know what's going on.
Oh,
you are trying to throw a problem at a solution.
Right, and that's peace. And like I said, I admit my ignorance because I'm not privy to what led up to it. But I just hope that whatever and if there are any problems, that is worked out very quickly, because it makes no sense to me where a reparationist, to coin the term, to use it, popularize it, and ADOS should ever be in conflict, ever, because all ADOS who advocate reparations is a reparationist. So it's something that has to grow and get used to at this point. So like I said, I want to say peace to everybody, and y'all keep up the good work. This is my first time in.
Yeah, yo, hey, bro, you can come through, man. Let me say, it's a couple of y'all brothers that are very sharp. Yourself, Brother Dre, in the very near future, I'm gonna reach out. We'll build.
All right, just real quick on the Garfield shows. Yeah, that was like a year ago. I really just kind of gave up on that because I personally started to kind of be redundant, waste my time on people who don't even take the time to learn the arguments and learn the political side of the arguments and the whys, and not even read the website, and then not even being ADOS themselves, but have so much to say and so much gossip stirring and instigation. That really is frustrating. So I had to just leave that alone. Much respect to Garfield and the whole crew, but I just left it alone. But y'all keep up the good work. So I'm gonna stay tuned in. And
definitely good looking, bro.
All right, peace.
Appreciate
it, bro. All right, well, we were supposed to be getting into the reparationist papers tonight. Oh, we got.
You know what?
Pull them up.
Go ahead, bro.
We got Sister ADOS North. Make your point, and then we bring Sister. I got Sister ADOS North on now, but just make your point real quick, and anybody that wanted to speak to anything, and then we're gonna bring the sister on.
Nah, let her go ahead.
Yeah, peace, Sister North.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes,
indeed.
Yeah. Hey guys, how are you?
We're doing great, and yourself?
All is well, sis.
All is well.
I'm okay. Yeah, just really some simple stuff. As a movement as a whole, ADOS as a whole, we're gonna have disagreements. We have every right to have them. If somebody comes at you, we took them out on either side. It really doesn't matter. If they say some things that you don't agree with, or you don't like them calling you names, you're gonna be angry about it. And so far as Ali being, he was upset about being called, I guess, a grifter, and it was something else that I believe he was being called, which I personally didn't agree with. You understand what I'm saying? It's just like when they tried to call Yvette all kinds of names. I didn't agree with it. I was one of the main ones, just like I was for you guys when Tariq tried to go off on her. I don't appreciate nobody calling my family all kinds of names. I'm not having it, and I consider you guys my family. So. with that being said, I'm not going to sit up there and let nobody talk about y'all. That's just what it is. Just like I wouldn't let nobody talk about Yvette. So with that being said, since I am a mod in your chat, I have already told the chat, you're not going to come in here with your half-ass attempts and trying to cause drama or whatever else it is. Either you can talk about it like a grown middle-aged adult, and if you can't, you need to leave the chat. You need to leave the conversation, period, because we're actually talking about things that concern us. Because again, ADOS as a whole is on death doorsteps. We don't have time to be playing and pussy popping. We don't have time for that. So let's really get serious about it. You understand what I'm saying? Now, the next piece I wanted to speak to is with that being said, I think that you guys are really, I wasn't there when certain arguments may have popped off or whatever the case may be, or certain disagreements. I wasn't there for that. I'm not going to lend to that. I'm not going to act like I know what you guys know, because that's not for me to do. But what it is for me to do is I will admit to some of the things that I do see so far as certain chapters are concerned. You understand what I'm saying? And there are certain people that I speak to within ADOS that know exactly what I went through, what I'm going through, how I was ignored by ADOS LA. You understand what I'm saying? And I just like I said on Twitter, there's a certain group of folks who literally look at ADOS North, they look at you guys, and they look at certain other people in the chat like we're beneath them. You understand what I'm saying? They look at me as if like, who is this homeless bear? You understand what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say the word, but that's the way it is.
Wow.
They don't know. Wow. They don't know you worth a damn, but they feel they can make a certain adjustment about you, or a certain ideology about you, or say whatever they want to about you, and you're just not supposed to say nothing back. That's just what it is. Well, guess what? We ain't built like that over here. You called and we answered. How about that?
Facts. I love you, man.
Yeah, you know we love you. All love, family.
So with that being said, I'm gonna put it out there again. I love Tone. I love Yvette. I love y'all. Again, I love them. So that means I love you. Just like I love all the rest of ADOS. I don't want to see us going through this. I don't want to see the fuck shit. I don't want to see the bullshit. Yes, I cursed. Oh well. If you got a problem with it, oh well. How we say in New York? Oh well.
I love it.
Word.
No doubt, sis.
Hey, we got the truth. We need to have the truth and reconciliation within the ADOS family. Because it's a whole lot of stuff that's coming out, man. It's a whole lot of stuff that's coming. I'm glad. Part of it is like I saw somebody give a good analogy on the situation. Some people, when this stuff first happened, I felt a little hurt and down. And as it started escalating, I was like, man, this is terrible. And then, I had a couple conversations and, I felt better. And I look at it like it's this way, man. You can't get anything to grow without rain. You can have the most fertile ground, the best place to grow crops, the best place for a forest to grow, and for animals to have a habitat and people to use resources from. But if you don't get any rain, if people look at it like as a cloud and a storm, if you don't get any rain, it's going to turn into a desert, and there's nothing is going to grow and live there. So I look at it, a situation where we got to have some rain. We got to have some rain, and we got to clean this stuff up. We got to, it's been too long, for people dealing with this stuff, and stuff got to come out. Stuff, and we got to get through it, and then we can get back to building like we were before. But even stronger, because now some of the underlying issues that were serious problems that were just being kind of swept under the rug, forgotten, and people being swept under the rug and forgotten or discarded, dismissed, whatever.
Exactly,
those
people
can be reinvigorated. Those people can feel like that. They're not feeling like outcasts or whatever the case may be. So I like I said, this is to me, it's the ability for us to move forward stronger, but we got to get through this stuff, man. And if anybody is trying to do anything to cause division as far as getting certain people to go away or to be minimized, that's a problem, and then that's part of what we got to fix.
What you have is a case where and we've been in so many different organizations and movement, from legacy groups, from NAACP to the Urban League to spiritual groups to fraternal groups. We've been in so many organizations, and this is not specific to us. I've seen the same thing in every single group, right? What we have to be mindful of is incorporating and treating everybody as equals. We can't be talking about being equals amongst the society, and we can't treat each other like equals, right? So what you have are people who feel like they're more important than others, and they want to downplay other people's ideas, downplay other people's significance and other people's influence because they're not in a social circle. This is not a social movement. This is a political movement and a legacy that is supposed to heal the historical harms and atrocities that destroyed our ancestors' ability to pursue life and happiness and liberty. You understand? So when you get caught up in, these little groups who feel like, if you're not hanging with us, you're insignificant. You have to destroy those type of dynamics, because those type of dynamics bring down movements. Those type of dynamics destroy organizations. And whoever idea is the best, I don't care who they are. If you have a good idea and it's going to help further this movement, I want to incorporate it. I want to hear all things. And I believe we've been locked out of democracy and representation for so long, we have a hard time practicing those principles among ourselves. So we don't know how to be democratic and vote on things and let everyone have a say, right? And then let's weigh that up. We want to come and tell people, well, who did you check with? See, that's that slave mind. That's the slave mind. Did you check with somebody before you said that? Who'd you check with before you said? BETHEPOWER is an incorporated organization, and me and my brothers are all equal partners in this thing. We check with each other before we come out with something. If we feel one of us is wrong, we check each other, right? And our whole intention is to never disrespect the movement, never to represent it in a ill light or in a wrong way. So we have those checks and balances among us, right? We didn't just come, this is not just a YouTube show. We are an organization dedicated to political education. That's what we do. We're serious about this. We all have a history. We didn't just pop up and do this because we saw other people doing it and say, damn, that looks fun. We want to do that too. Hell no, we are grown men who are serious about life, and we take life very seriously. We don't have time playing games and be wasting. Naheem had done a reparations, like this is how long we've been doing this stuff, right? Naheem has a video he did on reparations in 2009, or was it 2011?
In 2011, my bad, I was reading this.
And it has 2011, and it has over 260,000 views. Now, we have always been refining our knowledge and building ourselves up to be the best selves, right? Because we're constantly unfolding. So we are better now and more refined now, and power comes with refinement. And so we are more powerful and more refined now than we was in 2011. And we have given honor to the people who have brought education that made that possible. Anyone who knows us, we've always given honor to the people who sparked the flame and ignited this energy today, right? We give honors to Tony Falk, we give honors to Yvette Arnell, but we are independent, upright, and fearless thinkers and intelligent people of ourselves who all of us have a body of work, and all of us have a skill set, and all of us have special abilities of our own that we are going to bring to this movement. And it's going to take all of us doing that, bringing what we have to the movement. We can't sit around and think that a few people are going to get it done. We need an all hands on deck situation. That's how the Sister North said that this is a dire situation. We will be extinct if we don't get it together. We don't have time to be fighting over silliness like reparations is new terminology. That's foolishness, family. Reparationist is a person. It's a job description. It's a job title. You understand? It's a job. What is your job? Fighting for reparation, right? Now, we can't say we're scared to use the term because of someone who doesn't have our same interest is using the term. Narc and then Cobra use the term reparations. Are we going to stop using the term reparations because they use it and they've been using it since Mother Moore and all these other people? No, it's not about who does it first. It's about who does it the best, right? And none of them have manifested reparations yet. So we are still in the race to manifest reparations. And until someone does that, we can't say who has the claim on it because we're all fighting for it.
I just want to interject one last thing before I jump off because I know y'all got stuff to do. I just really want to kindly remind people. I want to just remind ADOS. I need y'all to understand that right about this time, just look at the environment. When you look at these other groups, they were known as Black or whatever you want to you have whatever you want to call it. We our generation got it right. Some of us Generation Xers. I'm a millennial. We have to be the ones now to come and do it because our parents didn't quite get it right and left us in a particular quagmire. What I'm saying is this. I'm going somewhere. But anyway, what I'm saying is this. I need y'all to really look up your history and look up groups who tried to get reparations, who tried to get any kind of, like they used to say, freedom back in the days, revolutionary, any kind of revolutionary type behavior. See what happened to them. How people was whispered in the background. Oh, well, so and so said this. Come to find out that these individuals were trying to collapse the whatever movement was going on. That's what's going on right now. I hope y'all not falling for that. But anyway, I'm ADOS North. I'm out.
Definitely.
Yo, shout out to the sister. Yo, ADOS North. That's family right there.
Brother Ali, you had something you wanted to share?
Yeah, let me say this. I personally stand on particular 5 principles, right? And I know we do. That's the principle of love. The next is truth, peace, freedom, and then justice. We stand on those principles and we approach things with those principles always in mind. So even as we're confronting the pushback that we get from different people inside of ADOS, don't think that we don't love them, right? I have love for all of my people. Tone, Yvette, the people in Atlanta, that the love is not the issue. So I see people saying that it's very disheartening and they was upset by it all. Family fights sometimes, right? Sometimes you have fights. I fought with my own blood relatives, right? But they're no less my blood relatives and my family, my brothers, sisters, whatever, than they were before the fight, right? So they still are. That's not the issue. So I don't want people to think that there's some kind of like split going on because that was one of the things that came up, that there was some fracturing. That's not the case. That's not the case. There's a disagreement. Sometimes family members are going to disagree, but we should be able to do that, particularly if we're dealing with those principles: love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. If we can keep those principles as the thing that grounds us and connects us to each other, and we deal with each other based on those principles, we should be fine. We should be fine. And like Brother Logic said, coming through different organizations, this is not new. This is going to happen, right? It happens even till this day inside of other organizations. It's not like this is some kind of new thing. But at the end of the day, I just wanted people to understand, even as you feel my energy and the passion that I'm giving you right now, it's not a thing of hatred towards anybody. It's just passion, and it's just me expressing how I feel about what's going on. It doesn't have anything to do with hating anybody. My offer to Tone or Yvette to have a conversation with us has nothing to do with wanting to fight anybody or anything like that. It has everything to do with clarification and having a real open dialogue with people so that everybody's clear on what's going on and what's being said and who means what when they're saying whatever it is they're saying. That's it. So I just wanted to clear that up so we could go ahead.
Definitely. I mean, it's a nice program. I'm having all type of computer issues, camera issues, microphone issues. I'm broadcasting from my phone, but I got my green screen up. So if I turn the camera on my phone, I got this big ugly green screen in the back. So I guess I'll just keep it on for now. It looked a little crazy, but
it looks fine.
It looked good. All right. I thought it was. That's why I had it blanked out. But tonight we were supposed to go over the Reparationist Papers. But this is just a nickname we've given them. And I want to run through. I didn't expect us to talk about this subject this long, but I'm glad that we did. It needs clarity. If there's an argument that can be made to counter anything that we presented tonight, we welcome that. We welcome that. We have some real fine debaters on this panel. They're very fine debaters. But I want to pull this up. If I want to give a shout out to Dr. Darity for his tireless work. He and A. Kirsten Mullen in their book, I'm about to say, where do we go from here? From Here to Equality, Reparations for Black Americans in the 21st Century. That book, we're going to actually do a book club on that book next month sometime. I'll announce the date probably on the next broadcast. So y'all look out for the date for that. So if you haven't gotten and read the book From Here to Equality, that's like the reparations requisite right there. Make sure you get that book. I want to give a shout out to other elders and OGs like Otis. You know, shout out to the OG Otis. Your wisdom is so great in our push forward as we reparationists keep this thing moving forward. And shout out to everybody that's doing that work. So one of the things that I want to do, let me go to share screen. I want to pull. We're not going to be able to obviously run through all of this, but I do want to share with you all this periodical that has come out. Matter of fact, first let me stop this screen. I want to give honors to those who put this particular periodical together. First and foremost, hold on.
Yes, indeed.
Because they need a shout out.
Make sure we do that. That's right. Put in great work. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, indeed.
Great work.
Let me blow this up a little bit. Share screen, application, boom, boom. So we have, this is the ADOS Reparationist Quick Guide, Volume 1, Issue 1, prepared by reparationists, people who are about reparations and are American descendants of slavery. Lisa R. Brown, BS, MPA, University of Akron, PhD, Adult Education, University of Georgia. Her Twitter handle is @ambidextrous_X. Stephen C. Cannon, BBA, Business Administration, Lemoyne Owen College, HBCU. His Twitter handle is @SonOfMemphis. Dr. Darity, he needs no introduction. And Sister A. Kirsten Mullen, and her Twitter handle is IR_Sten_K Mullen. And we want to give a shout out to you for putting this reparationist guide together, because it serves as a proper study guide for those who are trying to push this message without talking in circles all of the time. We have substance now coming from a scholastic works like From Here to Equality that we all can study and use, which in this instance, this particular issue is dedicated to. This issue is dedicated to basically breaking down a lot of the fallacies that come with being a reparationist. So let's get into.
So before you get into that, let me just say, like, this work is based on, so the reparationist guideline, the ADOS reparationist guidelines. This is Volume 1, Issue 1, and it's based on From Here to Equality. If you haven't got From Here to Equality in your system yet, you have to get that in your system, family. From Here to Equality is the greatest work on reparations that you can get your hands on right now. There is no more material as complete and comprehensive as From Here to Equality. And for those of you who know, you already know this. In chapter 13, it goes literally over almost like all the criticisms and pushbacks to reparations. It gives you all of the material to undress those baseless claims. Everything from affirmative action to we just got here, we shouldn't have to pay, to why, everything. Get the book From Here to Equality. Everyone should be talking about From Here to Equality. This is what your children should be reading, From Here to Equality. Everyone in your household should have From Here to Equality. It is the greatest work that there is on reparations. There is nothing that can arm you and season your mind You will be a professional reparationist if you study this guide. You can't go wrong if you study this guide, right? So we must understand how important this work is. And if you're overlooking from here to equality, you are making the biggest mistake of your life. You have to get in your system. And the work on the reparationist guidelines, all of the issues will be rooted in from here to equality. All right. So just know that.
Definitely. Look, we're not going to run through all of this, fam. I'm just going to give a cursory overview of some of the
first part. If you don't read nothing, read that first part of how it introduces it. Let's just start at the top and read the whole introduction and what it's all about.
Definitely. All right, now I got to turn my phone. Oh, I'm having all type of issues, fam. Okay. ADOS Reparationist FHTE Guided Reference Sheet Volume 1. ADOS Reparationist Quick Guide, October, Volume 1, Issue 1. About us. The ADOS, American Descendants of Slavery Reparationist Quick Guide response is designed to be a civic engagement resource for anyone and allows supporters to take ownership of our social justice advocacy. Authorship is being encouraged from every sector and community of citizens concerned with the restorative justice of ADOS and the closing of the Black-white racial wealth gap. The book, From Here to Equality, Reparations for Black Americans in the 20th Century, Darity and Mullen 2020, will serve as our base source for the invited authors of the volumes. Each issue will contain 5 topical quick points from 4 featured authors offering their responses to commonly held opposition to reparations and or frequently asked questions about a reparations program. The inherited disadvantages of slavery and the inability to transfer wealth to ADOS descendants have been a major contributor to the bottom caste positionality of this ethnic group. This volume series is intended to encourage, study, and dialogue. It is an instrument for personal empowerment by creating a means for active participation of reparationists and national coalition building, which includes petitioning for significant revisions or replacement of the House of Representatives Bill H.R. 40, currently before the U.S. Congress. And I don't know if do y'all want to get into any of them? Sister Lisa Brown starts it off, education and civic engagement. Why can't, I'll just read this first one and y'all let me know if y'all want to continue. Education and civic engagement, Lisa Brown. Number 1, well, this is one of those questions. Why can't Blacks achieve academically on par with whites since slavery is over and nothing is stopping them? She responds, notably, fear of full citizenship for ADOS and literacy parity with whites even disturbed white female abolitionists. A literate slave class that could supersede illiterate whites was untenable and stoked concerns about slave insurrections. Hence, some white abolitionists advocated an end to slavery, coupled with a return of freed Blacks to Africa. Others sought to criminalize Black literacy. From Here to Equality, paragraph 4, pages 86 through 88. There is a tendency to understate the extent to which, in some cases, white abolitionists also were white supremacists. An argument could be made those remnants of such mentalities are mirrored in today's academic achievement gaps between Blacks and whites, especially at the pre-K through 12 levels. Additionally, years and years of inferior schooling under legal segregation must be evaluated via an impact assessment. This is especially important since Blacks get more years of schooling and credentials than whites from homes with similar levels of income. The rate of return is not as much of a payoff for Blacks pursuing additional education as it is for whites. Such results are often misinterpreted as Black academic underachievement. For example, at every level of schooling, Blacks have an unemployment rate that typically is twice the white rate. Blacks with a college degree have 2/3 of the net worth of whites who never finished high school. Moreover, School desegregation at the facility level gave rise to internal segregation by curriculum and instruction via racialized tracking in schools, continuing to disadvantage Black students academically. And to top it all, there is a renewed pattern of growth and outright school segregation at the facility level. So what I just read is a portion of this particular guide, and it gives you an idea of where the authors who constructed this guide is going. Our team, Be the Power, we are going to contribute the next set of articles coming directly from Here to Equality. And in this way, we help further the education of reparationists. Like, this is the job. Education about what we're doing as reparationists is key. So I'm gonna stop the screen, but I'll share any more if you all would want me to.
Yeah, please read the one that Dr. Darity did. I thought that was particularly insightful. Just you don't have to read all the bullets. Just read 6, 7, and that bullet highlight that's right before 8.
All right. 6, 7. Let's go there. 6, 7. Okay. Lost cause advocates, objections to Black reparations. Sandy Darity. 6. Hasn't the debt already been paid in the blood of 700,000 lives lost during the Civil War? Which is a question that we get all the time because we battle white supremacists. We're online having these discussions and these debates with these people because we need to understand the enemy. We need to understand them at a deeper level so that we can know how to craft what it is that we're doing as we move forward. This is just simple reconnaissance. Okay, he answers. First, close to half of those lives were lost by the Confederates who were fighting to preserve slavery. Second, among the Union losses were a significant number of Black soldiers who were fighting for their liberation, and they died at higher rates than white soldiers. Third, ending the harm of slavery, even at great cost, is not the equivalent of compensating for the harm of slavery. Fourth and finally, had the South agreed to compensated emancipation, far fewer lives would have been lost. Depending upon when compensated emancipation was agreed upon, slavery could have ended without the Great War being fought in the first place. From Here to Equality, pages 245 to 246. 7. Well, only 1% of white Southerners owned slaves, so why place a burden on the overwhelming majority of Americans who had no connections to slavery? I'm trying to use a Southern voice, so forgive me if it sounds horrible. Dr. Darity answers. In fact, in the Southern states that formed the Confederacy, with the smallest proportion of whites owning enslaved persons, at least 1/4 of whites lived in families that owned at least one Black body. In South Carolina and Mississippi, more than half of whites lived in families that owned at least one Black slave. More than half of white slave-owning families held between 2 and 10 persons in bondage. Non-slave-owning whites frequently were strongly connected to the system of slavery via work as slave catchers, overseers, traders with plantations, and the entire structure of policing the enslaved population. Even in the North, the cotton sector played a monumental role in economic growth, particularly via the textile industry and the development of the stock exchange. From Here to Equality, pages 65 through 68. This is important information, and you have to read From Here to Equality so that you can understand what this argument is centered in, what it's grounded in, and how we move forward with it. 8. All right. I guess I'll read through Darryl.
Yeah, hold on. Read that. He is getting better as you go. You definitely got to read
Okay.
that because we've dealt with many of these arguments on our show
That's
before.
right.
But and check out the citations too, people. It's got the page and everything on there for you. Get the book. Go check out the work. Yeah, read that. 8, number 8.
Okay, definitely. Number 8. Well, what about the fact that thousands of Blacks owned slaves in the South? Answer. About 3,000 free blacks owned 20,000 people in 1860, approximately 0.5% of the total of 4 million enslaved. The 3,000 slaveholding blacks themselves were less than 1% of the 477,000 free blacks in the United States. From Here to Equality, pages 313, note 83. I believe that N stands for note. Number 9, Native Americans deserve reparations. What about them? Answer, there is some ambiguity about whether some reparations already have been paid to Native Americans. However, if you think there still is an additional case, we encourage you to develop that case. It simply is not the same case like the one for Black American descendants of U.S. slavery. The Native American case was primarily a sovereignty claim. The Black American case is a claim for full citizenship. They should not be merged. Number 10, slavery was not so long ago. Number 10, slavery was so long ago. Why do you keep bringing it up? Answer, the effects of slavery extend to the present moment, particularly since the formerly enslaved never were granted any form of restitution. At least 3,000 enslaved, at least 3 enslaved blacks were alive deep into the 20th century. At least 3 enslaved blacks were alive deep into the 20th century. 2 of them, Cujo Lewis and Radoshi, who had been kidnapped in Benin and smuggled into the US in 1860, 52 years after the importation of enslaved blacks into the US was no longer legal, died in 1935 and 1937, respectively. And William Casby, who was born in Algiers, Louisiana in 1857 and died in 1970. As of August 2020, there is at least 1 living Black American who is the daughter of an enslaved person. For most Black Americans, the enslaved ancestor is only 4 generations in the past. Many Blacks living today have a grandparent who was acquainted with an enslaved ancestor. From Here to Equality, pages 240 to 243. So I'm going to stop it there. Any of the bros want to give any commentary on what was just read? Yeah, jump in.
Yo, man, whew. I literally read something out of From Here to Equality every single day. It is the manual for this reparationist work that we're involved in. And I cannot thank Dr. Sandy Darity and A. Kirsten Mullen enough for that divinely prepared work, because it helped us and all of us in this fight more than anyone can explain in words. You know, like it's so powerful. Like for those, they went so deep into the history and all of the specific, like I really can just say the best way to describe From Here to Equality is it's just divinely prepared, and it will arm you with everything you need to combat any anti-reparationist, right? So please, I'm talking about from everything from the history from a history of reparations programs, from the history to what happened during Reconstruction, history of everything from all the programs, the civil rights movement, the economic piece, just anything you can think about, you can find it in From Here to Equality. Please get that in your system, family. We have to, this book cannot be talked about and studied enough. It's the most pivotal, transformative work that has been produced to date. I'm not over exaggerating one bit. Anyone who has read the work has been totally impressed and uplifted and empowered through its teachings, its wisdom, and its knowledge. You have to get it. It is the guide to reparations. If you want to know how to get it done, if you want to be able to talk about a reparations program for Black Americans in the 21st century, you cannot do it as expertly and as sophisticated without this great work. From Here to Equality. Again, thanks to all the people who produced the reparationist guideline. Can we read all of their names again who did volume 1 and issue 1 again, please?
Definitely. And I want you all to note their credentials. You know, we know Dr. Darity, we know A. Kirsten Mullen, but I want to give a shout out to Lisa Brown, again, BS, MPA, University of Akron, PhD, Adult Education, University of Georgia. Her Twitter handle is at ambidextrous. I don't know why I'm struggling to say that. That is a tongue twister. _X. And brother Stephen C. Cannon, BBA, Business Administration, Lemoyne Owen College and HBCU, and his Twitter handle is at Son of Memphis. These are going to be, I believe, quarterly publications. If I'm not mistaken, next one comes out in January. That's the one that the team and I are going to work on. I'm looking forward to it. It's crazy. I've been thinking about that all day, to be honest with you. I've expressed to my bros how I don't like sitting at this computer because I've sat here for years, and I think I'm just gonna get me a new chair because maybe that's what the issue is. Maybe it's this chair. I've worn it out. So yeah, definitely.
And the other names? It was some other names on there, right?
Oh yeah, no, I shouted. That was Dr. Darity and A. Kirsten Mullen. Those are the four. But you know, we know Dr. Darity and Kirsten Mullins from Here to Equality. So I wanted
I wanted to say real quick.
Oh no, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, this is like real. This is the reparationist, ADOS reparationist work that we're talking about. You know, like this is arming people with the tools. Like from Here to Equality is, of course, people need to get in and read the book. But unfortunately, you know, sometimes people don't read the book or get to the end of the book. This right here is giving you, it's like a quick guide. So you can just pull this up and you can get a lot down that can empower you in these conversations. Because if you're talking to, see, you know, what we've done so far over the past 2 or 3 years is, you know, make the understanding for the criteria, make the understanding for our specific group and our specific claim, and make the delineation to say who does not get it, you know. It essentially, that's building public awareness, and that's building like public support within our group. And now we need to build national support for everybody, you know, because that's the only way reparations is going to happen. Where's my phone charger? And essentially that's going to come when we have a lot of people that are skilled in making the case, you know, because we're going to have to influence as many people as possible to make this thing happen, to build public support. And documents like this is that reparations work that we're talking about.
Exactly. I mean, we're coming up on 2 hours. I didn't want to, oh no, we're not coming up on 2 hours because we started late. But well, technically we are coming up on 2 hours and 14 minutes. Anybody?
Yeah, we've got about another 14 minutes. Now I was saying we got about another 14 minutes.
Okay, we might as well ride it out. Yeah, so you know, I want to say real quick. You know,
we don't have to go 2 hours. I mean, if everything was said, it was.
We had to I don't know what was going on. We had to come on tonight because we wanted to address the reparationist thing and the claim that it is somehow in the same vein of FBA or anything. Like that's just not true. You know, we got to work together to push reparation. Period. If it's not the case, just say it with your chest. I'm not trying to peel no scabs, because the scab just got peeled with the tweet that I seen not too long ago. So it was already oozing blood and pus because it's an infected wound. Just say it with your chest. Just like real talk, man. I'm just keeping it official. Say it with your chest. Either way, we over here at BTP, we're going to continue to do the work. We're going to continue to educate you every week. We're going to continue with political advocacy. we're going to continue with our reparationist work. It's as simple as that. There's nothing complicated about it at all. So,
yeah, so but pull up this comment by the YouTube handle Navets Nanak. Yo, honors to you. You the one took the time in to put that work in to help uplift and educate us and further this thing. You know, because like Brother Fred Hampton always said, that education has to be the most important part and the focal point of any movement, because without the education, you may get into this because of emotion and turn this into an emotional thing. And then once the emotion dies out, your advocacy will die out. Or you might get into this because you might think it's some money in this thing. And then when you can't get your hands on some money, or you finally get your hands on some money, you just disappear. You know what I'm saying? So, or you come up with programs that lead to your pockets instead of lead to the people. So we are all for the education in this thing, right? Because when you're rooted into the education thing, you will be rooted in the mission. But if you get into this thing for some other reasons, and some back pocket reasons and some front pocket reasons, you'll end up oppressing the very people you're trying to uplift. So we thank you for the education, right? And that's the most important component of any movement, is the education piece, right? When at Be the Power, we have you, and to come in to Be the Power and advocate on this platform, you have to go through a 6-week orientation before you can speak about as a representative of Be the Power, right? We put people through this reparations work. You can't speak as a member of Be the Power if you haven't read From Here to Equality. We just can't do it. We have to be seasoned. We have to be patient. We have to take our time, right? So again, we're not just a YouTube brothers who come to you as a YouTube broadcast channel. We are an organization who have a plan for the future, who have a vision for the American descendants of slavery, because we are all going to be known by our legacy that we leave when we pass form on this planet, right? And then when I die, I want people to say, you know what? He was one hell of a reparation.
Straight like that.
And you know, that's all I got to say, people. Just remember that I'm gonna end on this note, and I'm gonna go. That first portion that you read was so important, because you hear, you know, some of these hustlers and some of these other people who are into, you know, financial and monetary gains, talking about financial literacy and how that's going to be the savior to everything, right? But that first individual is talking about political literacy. You understand? Now, if you don't got that political literacy in you, you'll never be able to connect it with the monetary component, right? Because the policies and the government decides the control of wealth and money, right? So they're the ones who broke us. They're the ones that got to fix us. And if you want to be literate in something, be literate first in the political science that controls the government and how the government runs. Because, you know, I always say government is the game and politics is how it's played. Peace out, fam.
Peace, bro. Brother Ali, you had anything you wanted to add?
Nah, I will just say this. I'm not confused about the use of the term reparationist one bit. I don't think it muddies any waters. Maybe it muddies waters for people who have comprehension problems, but I don't have that problem. So it doesn't muddy anything for me, right? At the end of the day, ADOS has already made their stamp in America, you know, in terms of what you are, what you're supposed to be about, in terms of an advocacy group. The people who know about ADOS know about ADOS. They know what it is, what it's supposed to be about. Reparationists, I guarantee you, to anybody who's looking at ADOS as an advocacy group, the term reparation is going to confuse them about who you are and what you're about politically. It's just not. It's only causing confusion within the group for certain reasons. It's a made-up thing. It's a made-up thing. It's not real. It's just something to be argumentative about. I'm just being honest. You don't have to like what I'm saying, but I'm telling you the truth, and you know it's the truth. That's why you're being argumentative about it. Peace.
Facts. Brother Josh. Oh, Brother Josh got off. Oh, hold on.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, no, I didn't even see. I got my phone on the monitor facing me, so I couldn't even see you blocked out. Something is wrong with my interface. I don't know what's wrong with this thing, but go ahead, bro.
Yeah, man, it's all good. You know, good discussion tonight, y'all. that reparationist guide is powerful. Again, along with From Here to Equality, everybody needs to get and read that. And I'm just excited about ADOS moving forward. ADOS moving forward, ADOS being stronger, and we just gotta clean up some things and keep it moving forward. But look, man, the real fight and the real work that needs to be done, we just gotta keep doing it. Like this guy right here is just one tool that everybody can add to their belt to sharpen everything up, man. And look, we have to move together as a united ADOS people. So if certain things are said, if certain people take the wrong way, hey, maybe we need to talk about it. Maybe we need to talk about it. Maybe we need to talk about. We can talk about it live. We can talk about it in private. I'm always down to have a conversation, and communication is good. And I'm not just talking about like any one or two particular people. I'm just talking about anybody. Anybody. If you have a particular issue with somebody, maybe hit the DM first. Hit the DM. Hit up the Facebook Messenger. Hit their line. It's COVID now, but you ain't getting no coffee. But all of those things is important. Communication is important. You don't always have to come out with some wild stuff. So. Hey man, that's all I wanted to say. I just say keep building, family. Keep up the fight. I am a reparationist. I don't care what nobody says. Peace.
Facts. Peace, brother John. I don't have too much to say. I'm glad that we were able to get to the guide that we've dubbed them the Reparationist Papers. This fight that we are in right now for justice. This is a fight about justice at the end of the day. This isn't I don't want to say I don't understand. I don't want to use those cliche words right now because I do understand. But we have to move together, family. Everything else is just irrelevant at this point. I don't think that having a spat about something irrelevant is relevant at all. I just don't. So we have to either put this thing to the side or, like I just said a few minutes ago, just say it with your chest so everybody can hear you. Like, yo, we just not rocking with y'all. If y'all rocking with Sister Tamara, or we not rocking with y'all, or we just not rocking with y'all because we got a problem with this person all of a sudden out the blue, or we got a problem with this person now. Say it with your chest, because I'm gonna say it with my chest. I'm gonna say it with my chest. I'm gonna say exactly what's on my mind, period, unless my bro say chill. So with that, I'm gonna leave y'all with the platform's motto. And that is, don't just fight the power, become the power. And then and only then will you have the power to make a change. With that, I say peace, and I am a reparationist.